Hello, hello, hello. I apologize for having the live this late. As of right now, I want to go ahead and talk about this subject because I think it needs to be talked about. And you know, all the domestic violence that's going on in the community, you know, I think that it should be number one, it should be addressed, and number two, I think it's time to and number two, I think it's time to finally how do I say this? I think it's time to have a conversation about this because the black women that have lost their lives because of DV is at the I think it's legitimately I think I think it's sad, and at the same time I also think that it's time that you know that I think it's time that it dang it. Um I think it's time that you know that people should s- stop, ignoring domestic violence, and the main thing of it is that the women, you know, they talk about it, and then you have the men, who talk about it. But the ones who are trying to silence the people who have been the main ones who are trying to silence the people who have been, in my opinion, the main ones who are trying to silence the domestic violence survivors or women who have experienced domestic violence within the black community is most of the men within it. And, I see there are black men out there, you know, talking about domestic violence and how it needs to stop and how it needs to end. And with that, I want to go I want to go ahead and I also want to say this to the black women who want to ignore the black women who have been through abuse, not just physically, but mental abuse. You are a definition of a black male worshiper because I just found out today that, there are black women who would ignore, you know, whenever a black woman that went through something, you know, and the main problem is that we already have too much of, people ignoring violence against black women thing. We have way too much of that going on. And the fact of the matter is that the victims who can't speak for themselves because they're either no longer here or they were forced into silence. They're the ones who suffer the most. And not only that, but you also have those who wants to just brush it under the rug in order to keep a black man out of prison. Well, I heard what they said about Cassie and everything, that tells me pretty much everything that I need to know. They want to go ahead and try to silence they want to go ahead and try to silence those who have survived domestic violence. And as of right now, you know, abusing abusing a woman mentally and physically is wrong. And there has been a lot of it happening within the community. Now, I'm happy that there are black women who are talking about it. I'm happy. And, and I understand that there are black women who do not want to deal with the toxicity of the black community anymore. So I want to say, I have no issue with that whatsoever. and then you know there are black women, who are not believed because because of because of you know in my opinion is because of how how you know I'm trying I'm trying to say it. I'm oh yeah, they do not get believed because there is always somebody within the community who will cover it up, which means within the black community, it also shows me that the black man is always first and the black woman is last. And and I'm gonna say this at the end of the day, when it really comes down to it, I'm going to say this because again, I think it has to be said at the end of the day. I I believe that black women, y'all gonna have to, in my opinion, I'm I'm happy that black women are standing up for themselves and saying that they do not want to take no more of the abuse and everything. I am happy that you all are standing up again, but but beware of the black women who want to keep the cycle going. You know, what do I mean by that? I mean, beware of the black women who wants to keep you in the cycle, because the more and more they try to bring you back into the cycle is when they will win and you will lose. And at and also when you really think about it, at the very end of the day, the the black women who want you to, you know, who want you to kneel for the black community, just like just like the mm, just like how most of the black men want you to do. They and trust me, because I've seen stories about this. If anything was to happen to you, the black women who you know, well, I would say this: the black men and women who wanted you to sacrifice your life, for a cause and everything. If something bad happens to you, let it be you were assaulted, you faced violence from a total stranger, they will not be saying anything, because 9 times out of 10 it will be a person that she knows who did who will, or the person that she is in love with, who would be the perpetrator, and strangers as well. Because I would say at the very end of the day, when it really comes down to it, and I'm I'm just going I'm go ahead and say this. At the end of the day, black women, you have to put yourselves first. You know, and I would say, because here's the thing that I've learned about, you know divestment. Um, it's all about working on yourself, and I realize that, you know, and I wanna go ahead. I wanna go ahead and and say this: black women who you know who work on themselves, you know, and you know, and you're ignoring the toxicity, because I do believe the toxicity within the black community right now is is getting out of hand, and I do believe that the domestic violence is getting way out of hand as well. It's like whenever a black woman says that she was abused and everything, it's like you have you have some people within you have most people, most of them, who will say, "Oh, you're lying, you're just trying to tear a black man down, this and that and the third." And I think I said this a couple of years ago. There's an agenda to protect black men from, you know, being held accountable for their actions. And it's coming to fruition as we speak. And and as I said in the video, in the live I did about why black male worship is dangerous for black women, is because not only, you know, the ruling, not only because of, black women who mule for the community, winds up getting disrespected by the majority of black men, but it's because the domestic violence. It's because of domestic violence as well. They will find ways to make sure that it doesn't get out. And the thing of it is, every time a black man wants it to stop, or a black woman who wants to stop speaks out about it, they get called a self-hater, or you don't like black men and all this other crap. And I knew years ago that the that they were eventually going to come up with a plan to hide the domestic violence rate. And well, other people may have known before I did. But again, their agenda is being shown. It's being shown because now I'm hearing that they are going to blame the woman who was abused by her by her by her boyfriend. And Again, it's sad, but you know, at at the end of the day, black women, you gotta stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to call the police or anything, because this agenda to protect black men is happening. It's happening in front of your eyes. They're using they're using stories of white men and other races of men unaliving black women when when it actually happens more within the black community. And the saddest part is, and here's the saddest part, there will be black women who will co-sign, you know, what they say as well. And the thing is, we're losing black women because of domestic violence. The lives of black women have been taken because of domestic violence. In the other video that I did about, let me see. In the other video that I did about the statistics for domestic violence against black women, it actually says that black women are being killed by black men more than any other race of women. And it's not hating black men to come out and say it. Of course, not all black men do it, but it's a majority of them that will do it. And at the end of the day, when it really comes down to it, I think I think at this time, black women, you have to stand up for yourself and learn, and you know, I would say get 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 your license to carry, and also make sure to take mixed martial arts classes. And, for those who care about black femicide, what I can say is you have to take it to Washington, D.C., and I'm not talking about going into a park and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about going in front of Congress, going in front of the Senate and the president and discuss this with them. That's what I'm talking about, because I must say this: the only way the perpetrators of domestic violence doesn't get away with this and doesn't get away with domestic violence or unaliving someone is by getting law enforcement involved and lawmakers involved. Because every day on the news, I hear about a black woman who had her life taken away due to domestic violence. Most of them are done by black men. Most of them are, most of them are done by black men. And it's not hating on black men to come out and say that. It's not. Anybody who is telling you is trying to gaslight you and is trying to silence you. And but I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. For those who came and listened, I want to thank you for coming. Make sure to like, comment, and share this video with any black woman who is ready to listen. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure you're notified whenever I go live. And until next time, peace.